Good evening. Welcome to the live Facebook. This is Martin here as I am tonight coming you from my little home here that I have. And I do think that many of you are already knowing the effect from the KLCI. Am I correct? The KLCI, as I said before earlier on, that market is eventually will need to correct. And right now it is correcting. So of course, many of you all may have seen this or know about it. So it is no longer a real surprise, as I said before in here. So this is where we want to so-called share with you with our thought on what that market is likely to be going forward. And one of the jobs that we do in the Trade VSA here is to allow people to see opportunity in many different types of market. Now, of course, our regular members, those of you who are regulars in here, do give a shout out on the comment section in here. At least I would know that you are one of our regular folks in here, and definitely will keep me company as I explain and let you know where are all the opportunities have been. And of course, if you are first time coming to our live Facebook, I'd like to welcome you. And again, very interesting topic as I see the opportunity now right at the Bitcoin. Now, of course, Bitcoin has its own mayhem and a lot of the challenges previously. Many of you going back to year 2012, 2013, 2014, it has been around for some time already. So right now we are talking about how the opportunity are more realistic than ever before. And why is that? All right, so I will share with you tonight in here. Now, of course, for our regular members in here, do give a shout out and give me a thumbs up as I'll be sharing with you some of the opportunity for tonight, unlocking the power of crypto coins. We're looking at the facts and also looking at the economics behind it in here, but we will be using good evening, Lou. Good evening. So we'll be into the Bitcoin ETF. Now, what is Bitcoin ETF? So Bitcoin ETF is exchange traded fund, very similar what we see in very popular in the US. I think many of you through my teaching or some of other teachings or other influencer has shared how you can get into the exchange traded fund, which XLK, XLV, and of course our regular members would have known that on our VSA 360 as we have all those stock exchange as well as ETF nicely in here. We also be looking whether ETF does represent a good instrument to trade, or many of you are thinking, since ETF is like a hedge, like a gold, can we invest in the longer term? But I'm going to be sharing you some of the facts, and then you will decide whether this is good or not. And some of the history that we are talking. Hello, Wei Leung, Miss Lee, good. And also some of the history of the event, which lead to what it is tonight. The exchange traded fund has overtaken the last high, which is the 67,000 previously. I think there was somewhere in, we'll look at the chart. Yeah, we'll look at chart. Can't really take it to. And also, where are these Bitcoin ETF? Now, some of you may have known a few ETF Bitcoin, but not really sure where they are. We will cover some of the most liquid in here. So do take note, get a camera, take a photo of any of the slides because they will be very useful to you, and going to cut down to a summary. Now, on my top here is this person. I don't know if you can see this or not. This is in one of the park in Budapest. Okay, one of the park in Budapest, and they give an honor to the inventor. All right, the inventor is no other than Satoshi Nakamoto. All right, there's been lately a few controversy. I think most of you may have heard it before, whether that controversy is good or bad. But as I can say, as long as the market go higher, like the Bitcoin that we see, is definitely good controversy in here because it attracts a lot of money coming in. And more recent of the event, why it has become so important in the world of institutional, we will also look at it, looking at some of those events over there, and we try to understand this. And Satoshi, let's put in the founder of Nakamoto, which is one of the so-called pioneer of cryptocurrency. He has this very good quote, and I do think that it does, make a lot of sense. If you don't believe it or don't get it, I don't have time to try to convince you. Sorry, because he does know the opportunity that is abound. And many times we have a lot of members also coming into our network, coming into our educational program that we see in here. They stay back and they watch and watch and watch, but never really get their hair wet, as they say in Cantonese. So with that, also not understanding some of the opportunity that is behind what we see in the Bitcoin in here. But of course, knowing some knowledge and not entirely having the tools to get into it, to profit it, can be also dangerous. That's why it's good to look at this quote and find time, I suppose. That's what Trade VSA, our channel, has always been, to educate our audience and also our respective members that are in here. Okay, so he doesn't have time to convince you, but I have time to convince you, right? And we do know Year of the Dragon, right, in the stock market perspective, has been very, very positive. Now, if you enjoy what you're seeing, give me a thumbs up in here, and that is an encouragement for me to really do the things I love doing, sharing information with you, teaching you about some of the great opportunity, and make sure you guys go there and look at those opportunity. I think one of, just like sharing health benefit to maximize your health, here I am sharing wealth benefit to maximize your wealth. If you have health, you better have the health to enjoy it. That's always been one of my motto in here, knowing that I've done pretty well over the years in the stock market, and now going into the Bitcoin, I want you guys to also follow me in the same manner, but also practice very good health. Good health practice. Do your regular exercise. Maybe one day I'll talk about some of the things I do and share with you in here. But the Year of the Dragon, as I said before, continued to be a very bullish year going forward in here, and no difference to the Bitcoin right in here, right? So let's talk about some famous personality, assuming that you will all start from ground zero and know very little about the Bitcoin that we've seen in here. Of course, John McPhee is this gentleman on the left hand side. I think he already sold the company, the McPhee Security, that you always get on your Windows. That's the one that pops out, asks you to do that. That's his company. I believe he actually had some sort of an accident or passed away. That was very, very shame to see that in here. Just have to Google it. Of course, on just next to me here, this one here is Satoshi Nakamoto. Okay, Satoshi Nakamoto was the one who started it all. He's known as the father of cryptocurrency, which I talk about it, and yet people also said that's not him. He may not be a Japanese. He could be a white guy or even a Asian guy, right? And of course, we have the controversy Zhao Changpeng, the incomer with B Finance, right? Who was finally, got into the regulator laws. Then he was tried to extradite. Then we also have the Sam Friedman, right, with the exchange too. Then we have Roger V, which is very unheard of, this investor. And we have Vitalik. That was the Ethereum. I think he's one of the inventor for the Ethereum Classic, which spun off, and he has a stream of. Now this is just merely for your information. You don't really need to know so much, but if you do come across some media, these are the famous crypto personality. Just like in the stock market, we have Warren Buffett, we have Peter Lynch. These are more guru than per se. Then we also have Elon Musk. Then a few of them like Jim Cramer that you see on this CNBC that yell and start hitting the horn. Those are the type of people we are talking about. Now, what makes it so interesting to trade the Bitcoin? Because I do find with the kind of range that you usually don't see in the stock market or in the exchange, but you can get this from the Bitcoin going back to as far back to 2011, right? This is not complete to 2023. You can see the monthly volatility, if they do go up, they go up pretty fast. So on that respect, right, if you want to have a long-term perspective, buy and hold kind of thing, you really have to be very careful what you're getting in, because there will be, we do know in year 2021, even year 2022, the Bitcoin really fell right to the bottom, and later on I'll show you what I mean here. All right, so this is the Bitcoin annual return. As you can see, it can exceed 250%, and one of the ways to show it that you cannot get away with Bitcoin is to have what we call, let me just get this correct first. Yeah, okay, let me just open this up here, is to get on to the TradingView. Now TradingView has some of the best tool around that we have seen for Bitcoin in here, and definitely tonight's talk cannot shy away from that. So you can see here the year-to-date return. Let me just switch to a weekly chart, and you can see what I mean here. Now you can see last year when the market closes, which is the end of the week, we are close to almost 68% return on a yearly year-to-date. So this year alone, we have 56% return already. Now, why is the big push that you are seeing was where we were, the November 2021, where we saw a lot of the tech stocks hit high before we have the February 2022, the Russian-Ukraine invasion, where the market actually dropped somewhere around here. This is where the market drops. So it is testing this old high, and you can see the last time when it was old high was 69,000 spot on, and you can look back right now, that is 69,210, and that's why you saw a lot of news. Now this is first time it touches the 64,000, second time, third time. Now if you are a Bitcoin follower, okay, now how many of you are Bitcoin follower? Type in 1 if you are Bitcoin follower. At least I know some of the audience in here. If you are not, just type 2. So at least I know perspective when I'm explaining all this. It does give some sort of a benchmark for me to talk on. All right, so you can see from here in year 2023, let me just go down again, the market dropped a lot. The drop about 62%. All right, this is where the year 2021, where remember it also followed the stock market, right? It followed the stock market, and when interest rate was rise because of the Russian-Ukraine war, which I've been talking time and time again on the on my live Facebook channel, you would see this in here. Then you go back to 2021, this was a 47% return. Okay, 47%, but the best return was in December 20, giving it a 344%. Of course, if you have bought it here and then you didn't sell it back in 2021, you have suffered a lot. But luckily for all of us, 2023 was a good year. And what do you think? Do you think 2024 will even be a better year? I definitely think so. Like in any of the technicals, we have the first resistance, second resistance, and this is the third resistance that is breaking out. Of course, we don't want to go back too far. Then we talk about ancient history beyond, I think beyond 2019, which is the pre-COVID situation, the pre-COVID situation in here. Bitcoin also has its own share of wins and loss, but you will notice on the monthly scale there is a lot of movement, and that's why it makes it a very, very good ideal software of using the right software to trade this market in here. All right, so those are the Bitcoin annual return. Now, where are we seeing right now? Okay, where are we seeing right now? As I said before, just using the Bitcoin as an indicator with green pentagon, it is a perfect match. Now, for our members that are already in our package, the Trade VSA Premium Membership, you are able to access the crypto indicator on the trading view. Now, this is a crypto indicator trading view, which make it a bit more responsive. So you can see from here, using the green pentagon since 30th of January, which is still in the uptrend, we have the 53% return, and it follows very, very interestingly to the stock setup. You can see here, market was at 52,000, took many days and broke out, another one, and then broke out, another 2-bar reversal. So right now we can see here from the market stages that we hear, this market is actually distributing. Okay, so distributing on a daily chart, so we have to be very careful in here. Market may not go straight up, it might correct, but it does look like likely to be a correction because it hits the danger zone that we've seen in here. So, and also it generally aligns with the US technology and also interest rate opinion. Now we all know US FOMC, Jerome Powell may delay the interest interest cut. So that's why we are seeing that there is so much that the Bitcoin can definitely go up, but definitely paired with the Pentagon guider that you will get, all right, since 30th of January, yield a 53% return. Imagine just putting a small amount like 10,000 ringgit, you will get 53% return in just using the green Pentagon. Especially right now, we have this event, right, of halving, okay, which will be on the 27th of March. Take note of the date. The date is 27th of March. We have the halving of the Bitcoin in here, and that will definitely put a lot of volatility into the market. Now we want to do also a price comparison why Bitcoin has a lot of meaning, especially in the world of trading. So you can see from here, Bitcoin versus Bitcoin ETF, which is the theme for tonight, versus KLCI versus Bursa Tech. Now, if you have a portfolio as asset and you put everything in FBM KLCI, no wonder you don't make any money at all, which is only 3.44%, right? Since January 2024. But if you have it in the Bitcoin, right, since, no, this is going back to January 2023. Sorry, January 2023, you would have gone up by 290%, but we will look at the more recent one. Then on Nasdaq, which is NQ1, up 62%. IBIT, which is the ETF, one of the most liquid Bitcoin ETF, is up 41%, while Bursa is only up 3%, which I already said January and February, we were up 7%, right, for the Bursa, right? And since then, what happened? Market corrected, right, which I also predicted correctly for the month of March in here. Check out some of the talks that we have, because market just don't go up in a straight line in here. You need to watch all those, and this is what we get. Okay, now in a more closer comparison in here, this is looking as of when the first Bitcoin was listed. First Bitcoin was listed, I think somewhere in 11th of January. We will look at also some of the timeline that we have and versus Bitcoin. Now, one of the things that I really like is how close the IBIT, okay, IBIT ETF, all right, it's the Bitcoin ETF matches the Bitcoin. That's what we are trying to do. We want to have a product or instrument in this case. When Bitcoin go up, we benefit from it. Yeah, whether it is a long term or it's a short term, that's how we exposure to it. As I said, also I tell many of my friends who generally are investing, put some money in gold too, right? And gold, really, you can see it's really moving up in the nicely in here. Just don't put everything in the KLCI. If you put everything in the KLCI, you're going to be getting very, very little return. I think knowledge is important. And for those of you who already gone beyond the knowledge and already a member of our Trade BSA, we thank you for your support in here. And we are definitely moving in a right way. So you can see from here, the Bitcoin had done pretty well. For just since January, it's up 57%, IBIT is up 47%, and our KLCI is only up 1%. On that basis, it does make the Bitcoin a very good proxy to the Bitcoin. Now let's take a look at the difference between the cryptocurrency and the exchange traded fund in here, right? So the underlying asset, as you can see here, let me just get my pen here since we're on this, is the Bitcoin itself. But the Bitcoin is a direct ownership. We all know the direct ownership, which means you have to have store. You need to store it in a very secure solution, right? There are many cases you have heard about storage, people losing the hard disk. There was another one, the Bitcoin was stored in a hard disk, and the hard disk was thrown into a refuel garbage truck and people can't find it. It's about 150 million in here. Just Google that one. That's really funny. That's the problem with the Bitcoin, because it is a series of numbers, a series of number algorithm just stored inside there. So Bitcoin track, the price of the Bitcoin is available in a lot of crypto exchange. In Malaysia, we actually have 5 of them, which is Sala by SC. SC approved them. Definitely the more popular one I have also is Luno. Then we have MX. Then we have a few more. I can't remember. MX. There is a list. All you gotta do is to SC approve. Okay, cryptocurrency. You will get that list. There's about 6 of them right now. So use those. At least you will be protected, because previously there was a lawsuit where one of the guy lost some money in Luno. I think that was last year. He sued Luno, and then Luno have to pay back. Right. So any hanky-panky going on the exchange, you can definitely get some sort of protected by the exchange traded fund. By the SC. Now, if you don't want to go through all those hassle, that's why we introduced the ETF, the Bitcoin ETF. Now, the Bitcoin ETF is important because the Bitcoin ETF, it's somewhere then you don't have to hold it. It's like a stock. It behaves like a stock. It's a share of the fund. That way you don't have to worry about where you want to put it and so forth. So that is also why I recommend people to have Bitcoin ETF, and also for some of my members and myself in here, I do buy them, but I only own share of the fund that hold Bitcoin. Basically, it's like a proxy. It can track the price of the Bitcoin, but it's not perfect. As I said before, Bitcoin may go up 6%, but this one may only go up 5%. It is very, very close. All right. The good thing is it's traded in the stock exchange. So far, the one very popular we see is Nasdaq. Yeah, the Nasdaq just on top of me here is a Nasdaq. That's the one in here, and there will be some kind of fee or whatever the case is, a single ETF. I believe there's also fractional investing where you can buy 0.1% share, and of course in Bitcoin you buy something like 0.00001, right? Because right now it's 69,000 US dollars, so buying one may be a bit really expensive. Okay, and with that, the Bitcoin ETF are very tightly regulated. Because it's very tightly regulated, that's where you're protected. Just like I say, in the trading platform, we want to go for the Malaysian one, which is approved by the Securities Commission in here. But in the other Bitcoin that you've seen, B Finance, and many of them in Singapore, all kapus, right? Remember in 2020, last year, 2021, 2020 was a good year. 2021 and 2022, when Bitcoin went down, it exposed a lot of these very shady practices. I think Sam Friedman is definitely one of them. He took a lot of the proceeds and go into buying property and things for his own purposes in here. So from here, you can see securities. You need a hardware wallet. In this case, less risky than storing a Bitcoin, because as long as you have a trading account and your share is actually written, the ETF share written to your account name. Now, of course, in the making right now are 2 super bullish news. It's about where Bitcoin is likely to be going, and Bitcoin rising to a record high. I do hope that by the time some of you come and watch this video again, Bitcoin would have exceeded the 69,210 US dollar. That is where it is right now. The highest 629210 previously in 2021 was 6900. Okay, then I think in 2019 and lower, that was 64K. Okay, so right now it's 6920, and if it does break successfully, but usually there will be a bit of choppiness, there will be the X sign of weakness that we see in here, and that's where we see the opportunity. But also in Bitcoin, you can short for the foreign exchange, but the local one like Luno, I did write to them. They say, unfortunately, I think maybe Bursa is being a bit cautious on that, and we are not able to short the Bitcoin future, Bitcoin currency in the in the Malaysian exchange. So if Luna say no, I'm sure the other 5 exchanges will also say no. Now, if you enjoyed this video that you're watching here, give me a thumbs up in here to ensure that we continue to give you high quality education that you're seeing in here. Another news is another exchange. This is in Panama. As you can see before, there are thousands and thousands of this exchange. Anybody can open up an exchange. Just you and me. You have then you have the money. You can do it. So they are expecting to rise 20% in the next 30 days. And one of this is because of the halving. Okay, halving is a process that restrict the number of Bitcoin that can be mined. Okay, because every 4 years they will halve, then halve, because there is only like 21 million coins. That's all. Now, compared to the US dollar, which is a fiat currency, they can print and can print and can print, Okay, so that is why people view the Bitcoin. Of course, there's a lot of controversy behind Bitcoin that is not in the control of the US Federal Reserve. And because of that, it tends to be a bit more unregulated, right? And we have seen a share of problems going back to 2011 right until the recent one in here. But notice, to me, Bitcoin has always been a trading product in here, with the exception maybe Bitcoin ETC, exchange ETF, exchange traded fund, will have some investment implication. All right, so the halving, which is coming on the 27th of March 2024, and that's what's really causing this market to move up around 80,000. But based on the last two count of the halving that we did, after half only, the market drop. Then after 3 or 4 months, only come back. So I do think this is very similar. Before halving, which is right now we are getting at 27, this market will propel. By the way, we are doing a special course, includes a 2-day course on US market and cryptocurrency at the end of this month. So look out for the dates. I'll be telling you and sharing you a bit more towards the end of this presentation. Right. So as the Bitcoin begin to halve, then the demands will remain because the supply is being halved. Right. So when you have less supply, more demand, assuming more people will be buying the Bitcoin ETF, then these buggers, the fund manager, also need to go to Bitcoin and buy them off from the exchange. So it's such that is why we'll see Bitcoin ETF has huge demand and huge implication on it. And that's also why I believe that Bitcoin can easily break above this 69K and assuming the 70K thousand onwards. Of course, some people also say it can go to 150,000 and so on and so forth. That's the same thing, just like Apple. Can it go higher beyond $220? Can Tesla go higher? Can Nvidia go beyond 1,000 US dollar? So this is again is basically a lot of prediction people out there, but I do hope that what we say here will give you a basis why the bullishness that we are seeing. Now, the founder of cryptocurrency, Satoshi Nakamoto, also shared something what I talk about within the US currency or even Malaysian currency, okay, which is considered as a fiat currency, because what I mean by fiat, there's nothing to back it up. It's just the so-called Federal Reserve or the strength of the country military. In this case, Malaysia will be the economy. I think we have something like 140 billion reserve. Okay, that's US dollar reserve, right? And because our currency is falling, they will talk about, getting it to defend it in here. All right. Now, then there is a BTC, which is already priced in US dollar. And because the central bank must not be trusted not to debase their currency. When they turn it to fiat, means they can print whenever you want to, right? Just like US is already 33 trillion or 37 trillion. I also lost count already. How much of the money that we have. But the history of fiat currency is full of breaches of that trust. But having said that, BTC also had as a lot of what we call flaw character, okay? Running an exchange, okay? The exchange. So these are like Sam Friedman that want to run, don't want to be controlled. So this, we have a lot of this floor character in here. So at one point, which do you think? If you come from the older generation like me and above, you will always think that the stock exchange is a better return. But the younger one, the Gen Z, the 20 plus, 2020, if you are listening and you're from that age, then you will believe that Bitcoin will be a better asset class because no one can print that much. It's just that the reference point in the time where you receive your investment education when you're young, that will definitely impact you. All right, let's look at some of the recent BTC headline in here, going back to February 24th, March and so forth. You can see Ethan crypto as Bitcoin see correcting. So first thing they'll see correcting to 48,000. It didn't come, okay? Bitcoin was a building block for desktop. That's where the role of investment portfolio. That is why BTC ETF will eventually form some of the investment portfolio, which I'm already doing that. So because if I'm starting to think like that, a lot of fund managers out there will be thinking of this too. And then at the same time, ETF smashed trading volume of 10 billion. That's a big swing out in here. Means they expected trading significant high volume. So that tells you like the one I always say before, like the foreign funds is coming, and then finally they came out, right? So they're like, so all-time high in euro and aim at US dollar in here, okay? Then 69324 as the fourth halving event approaches, that will be March 4th, which is 2 or 3 days ago, right? Crypto liquidation crossed 550 as Bitcoin remain volatile in here, and recent price due to old miners selling their thing. So that is also quite valid. As the market approach new high, there will be profit taking, which is already some of the things I want to talk about in here. Now looking in the next headline we have here with regards to the exchange traded fund. Now why this is important, the BTC headline will have some impact on the exchange traded fund. So there was a lot of ongoing controversy when it first started on November 23rd. Now remember, the first listing of a lot of the ETF were around 11th of January, okay, 2024, listing of it. So you can see there was a lot of ding dong here, ding dong there between the Securities Commission, because remember I talked about the ETF, which is regulated. So you have the Securities Exchange, just like Malaysia, they call it the SEC. So they were where a lot of collaboration about Bitcoin offering. Many ones it's like finding their gang lah. I want to find this gang, I want to find that gang, because I have a product to sell, in this case ETF. So there are many ETF, we will look at it next. So there was a lot of volume to smashing in here, and then finally when they approve on the 11th of January, money start flowing in. You can see Bitcoin ETFC record 2.4 billion. Because a lot of people like myself, we always wanted to buy Bitcoin, okay? But we do not like the securities feature with the Bitcoin that you have in the exchange. And we have seen some exchange churi people around money. That's where it happened also in Luno, was a mismanagement, mishandling in there, and finally I think you just check out the press on that one. So with the Bitcoin exposure having the fiat currency, so it's always good to diversify out in such instrument, because the features of it is unlike the stock. It's a bit like hedging, like gold, but it's considered like a digital gold in here. So some technical events which is also important that you guys will know, what we call the hard fork and the soft fork. Is like when there's a split between the Bitcoin Cash from Bitcoin. So there's like father got son one, those kind of thing, because of the protocol. And then we have the halving, which is, you know, the one of the true feature is the diminishing return and encourage scarcity. Like the fiat currency, the US dollar or the ringgit or Sing dollar, they can print whenever they want to. When the economy is strong, they don't need to print. But when the economy is bad, they may have to print a lot. We've seen some of the African country who print. You can see the inflation has gone up a lot. Then there are a couple of things what we call upgrade. But the more important event is the halving. So the next halving date is the 27th of March, if I'm not mistaken, right? So that's why we are seeing the volatility that we are seeing right now is due to this. Then there are some non-technical events in cryptocurrency which also cause the market to fluctuate. I think some of this were money laundering. Then we have B finance in Nigeria right now. They have to get out from Nigeria. Then there are regulatory changes, right? What people can do and cannot do. And because of that, you have seen some of the companies in Singapore has gone under, because I think there was a lot of owing here and there, and sometimes you can't even keep track of it in here. But another major significant is the institutional adoption, which is from the finance big player like the JP Morgan, okay, the Bank of America, right? Except Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett still doesn't like Bitcoin, okay? Right? Warren Buffett is the old schooler. Give it a few more years. His partner, Charlie Munger, also passed away already. So not much to say. He's more into traditional oil and gas in here. So whenever you get hedge fund and you got institutional adopting in here, that's where the Bitcoin will go mainstream, right? The Bitcoin will go mainstream. We mean more widely accepted. Remember, as the baby boomer become older. If you are the baby boomer, you're born in the 60s or the 70s, early 70s, then you tend to fade away, right? So the earlier one, which is right now the Gen Z, which is in their 25, 35, they will become the older crowd, and they will dictate major forces and what we see today. And I do think that going forward, these adoption of institutional, right, will become mainstream, that hey, you can buy Bitcoin ETF, which is very similar to the digital gold, buying the ETF for the gold in here, having a hedge. Now the halving that we've seen so far, right, here is the price that we have. So you can see from here, this is a Bitcoin halving. This is the number of unit they are able to produce. I think 360 day are halving, there's a 537% increase. There's a 365 days before halving was only 37. Okay, so this is where we talk about the May 2020. April akan datang. Before halving, rise 37%. After halving, a rise went up 550%. But do take note, after halving, there's a lot of volatility drop in here. And this is why you can see halving, okay? And here, you can see the percentage really, really gila. So the kind of swing that we get, and right now you'll see, we already have, before halving to here, I think we have a fair bit. I think it's maybe over 200% already. So halving can be 10 times more. Okay, that's what the guy who said the exchange, it can go up to 80,000, which possible, which does make it a very, very good trading ground right in here. So get in, get your profit, come back in and turn in. But you need some sort of indicator. We at Trade VSA recommend you to use Pentagon Guider. If we back tested it very well, and that's why one of the things we want to share with you in our up and coming course on the 30th of March, how to use this more effectively. And for our regular members, do come back for this course in here. We have a small fee, that's all, sort of a maintenance fee in here to refreshen all our data. But of course, those of you who are new, always wanted to join Trade VSA and use our Pentagon Guider for those intraday movement for the US market, for the Malaysian market, for the SGXA, all in one trading view, you have got it. All right, so keep up in here. Then let's take a look at some of the more liquid ETF that we've seen so far, right? Right, is the iShare. Now, iShare Bitcoin Trust, it has about 2.7 billion AUM, right? It's a spot Bitcoin by BlackRock. Then we have the Fidelity, Wise Orange, a lot of funny name now, but just remember this code, FBTC. Later, next one, I'll show you the slide. EZBC, Franklin Templeton, EIBT, then we have Van Ark, Bitcoin, HODL. All these are all the same. Then we have the ARK by the lady Cathy Wood, the famous Cathy Wood. Then previously, we also have one is the ProShare Bitcoin Strategy ETF. This is known as BITO. It tracks the Bitcoin future contract. So more or less all of them track the same. So if you enjoy what you are listening and the information I have here are beneficial, give me a thumbs up, because when it comes to watching and trading the Bitcoin, I do hope that our video will be played again as a reference for you to understand what's really going on into the market. So you can see from here, this is the first one I bid, okay, using 1 hour chart. You can see 1 hour chart are pretty good. Okay, here you can with a cut, but this one you can run this thing up, right? You can see this is, I think, about quite a fair bit. Let's say at $30, it goes down to 37. Okay, 37. So 7 divided by 30. Let me get the calculator first. Okay, so 7 divided by 30 is 23% return from February only. Because we use hourly chart, it's better. You can trade the shorter time frame. You can go for those 10% to 15%, right? And remember, the market ranges a lot. So when you see the red pentagon, time to go lah. If you start to break down some more here. Okay, so this is where $30. You notice this is I bid with I share. See the stock same, right? Semua sama punya. See next one. Okay, this is Fidelity is, what's the name of this one? FBTC. FBTC. Same also. You see that? Very same one, right? When we got this. Now in TradingView, once you open up account with TradingView, it's absolutely free. Go in open account. All these charts are real time and it's free. Okay, except the Pentagon guided that you see. So this is the Pentagon guided hour that you want to enhance and add into it. And when you enhance and add into it, this is where you get the kind of power that tell you when to go in and when to go out. All right. So FTBBC is also the same here. You can see. Next one we have Templeton. Templeton is, what is the code? EZBC. Okay. EZBC. So Templeton one also sama. You can see. Move sideways. So they all follow the same one. EZBC. IBIT, but I like IBIT because the volume is there. You can see on the hourly you can get up to almost up to 4 million in here. The other one 2 million. You can see, right? This one like it less, 50k. And BITO has been around since 2021, right? Previously matching the ETF strategy. You can see also very similar. You can see here also 4 million shares, right? So right here you can see Bitcoin has already turned down. You can actually short the market from here, 38 going down at 36, right? So that will definitely be very so one of the things I want to show you, right, is you can switch on. So like here, you just switch on to hourly chart, right? And you can see there. Okay, let me just refresh this and make sure you use the crypto. We have one here. Let me just get you. This is a crypto, right? We have a crypto Pentagon Guider, which we designed and backtested it since the 2018, 2019. We already have it in here. But we've been sort of putting it, we don't have a course. So right now we are packaging it into a course that you can use it. And best of all, we are able to monitor your progress over the next 12 months. Just imagine you come for a course, you learn it, and then we coach you for the next 12 months through our supervised coaching in here. Of course, with others, US market, Malaysian market in here, just not looking at cryptocurrency. My goal for you is learn how to invest and trade. Like myself, my background in fund management, we want you to diversify out. A little bit of Malaysia, a little bit of US market, a little bit of ETF, and that's how you want to build your wealth. Remember, I talk about wealth and health, right? So once you have the wealth going on, you better learn how to take care of your health. A lot of people got health but don't have wealth. Here, my emphasis is always wealth and health. Eating right, have a low carbohydrate diet, high in protein, especially if you're a bit older in here, which I always tell my sifu, Bill Vermine, he's in the late 80s, have more protein. Have more protein. A lot of protein is not really a bad thing in here. I keep the carbs low because sugar is not good. So you can see from here, definitely right now is not a time to be, okay, we can also switch to Bitcoin because this is an ETF, right? You can see Bitcoin is switching to an hour chart. Looks like here, right? This is where it turned green pentagon, right? So from green pentagon here, that was only 3rd of March. Sunday you can trade. You can trade every day one, right? One thing good about Bitcoin, you can trade on weekend. Then the flag go up to 10%. Okay, so 7, 8, 10% good enough already. Right? Then the market drop. Here you try to pick, but once it breaks down a red pentagon, get out. So I do think right now a setup is coming up here, right? If you want to go long around the 66,000 in here, that's one way to do it. We have the part of our package in here, right, is to allow you to trade and trading simulation in here. I think for many of our members, we have seen this before. So I'll just type in the, let's go to the coins. Okay, you can see the Bitcoin here now is down 1% in here. So this is where we want to do the trading simulation, where we are able to monitor your progress. So you go back to the competition, and if you want to buy the Bitcoin, right here, BTC, right, you can see BTC here, price is 66,000 in here, and right now it's about 66,000 here, right? So it's not a time to buy yet. So we wait for here green pentagon, and then we go to a cryptocurrency and we're done. So in the last few trades, you can notice that I follow the hourly chart. You can see my history, all winners. I made about a small, I uses about 66,000, made about a very small, $300. This was a big one. Ethereum Classic, 34 to 36. That was $1,100 in here. Bitcoin, I just bought 0.01, which is a 63,000 opening price. A very small amount in here. And I kept it about a day only, right? And then Ethereum Classic make money. So this is why it's important that you don't go into the market buta, right? You want to able to have a platform like this and able to see all your mistakes clearly, like what we did in our stock trading method. One of the things that we learned over the last 6 months to 9 months and 12 months through our Series 2 back testing and virtual trading in here, we need to be motivated to trade, right? We need to be motivated to trade, and through our supervised and our weekly and our monthly orientation, we find that that's a way to able to move forward. And I do hope that some of you who are listening, our members, were able to join the Bitcoin, right? Trade the same thing that you do. You already done so well on the stock side, and now we're just moving to the Bitcoin as the market as a. So as a summary for the US market Bitcoin ETF, a lot of opportunity ahead, right? The volatility remains challenging. As I said before, we just need to wait for the green pentagon, right, to come out. Be careful of quick distribution, all-time high, but that 69,000 will likely to break. The question, when you break, when you see uptrust, when you see a red pentagon, it's time to take profit, because new high ETF is profit taking. Now, if you don't have that pentagon guidance in here, what better way to join our up and coming course, which we are doing it, our 2-day course on the 30th of March in here. And so in short, trade the 1 hour chart. We're going to look at even smaller time frame, but 1 hour looks pretty good in here, and you can trade on weekend. So the course that we are talking about is an opportunity to benefit from this rally. We will be doing a preview next Wednesday. So today is just on Bitcoin ETF. Some of the ETF you want to trade is IBIT, BTC, right? They're all pretty much the same. So if you just go for one, like me, what I do, I just buy IBIT because it has the highest volume in here. So in this one, it's a 1+1 day foundation trading, and the date is 30th of March. We do it through Zoom, right? And we have the recording. The recording will be available to you to view and watch again. But more importantly is the 12-month so-called 12-month supervised coaching that we want to do. So the same thing when we do our live trading, we also do a bit with the Bitcoin, depending on how many people want to sign up. If we have a big group, they're pretty good, then we can do a Monday night session, keeping it short to focus also on those Bitcoin in here, because we feel that with our framework, you will develop consistent result before even risking real money in here. So just like what we say, we have the supervised watching, which I just showed you before. You can actually trade that platform. Look, we have the US market, we have the Bitcoin platform in here that you can trade, right, virtually without safety in here for your result improvement in here. So there's no way anyone can come in that and say that they don't know how to trade, or they fail to trade, because right now we can see, because previously we try to get the statement from our members, and a lot of these times Many of them are PNC, or maybe the amount is so big they trade like hundreds and hundreds of $1,000. They just don't like to review how much to it. But in here, everyone is given a consistent paper trading account in here, and we can monitor how you trade and how well you perform. All right. So on the offerings that we are giving out on this 30th of March is the 2-day course plus our 12 months Trade VSA membership with cryptocurrency indicator. That's the one I've shared with you using the 1-hour chart and the US market trading wheel. So through that way, we believe you can develop very, very good consistent result in here, like many of our members does. You can see here the lesson that we learned from our stock and cryptocurrency. You can see some of our top leader just in the span of September 7, and we will probably finish on the 7th of March with a $50,000 profit, all right, based on their own strategy that they developed over time, as well as using our Pentagon Guider. They made about a 37% return. So your performance in here is definitely going to be a straight line, and we will monitor them over the next course of the 12 months as long as your membership are validated. You can see Chu was the previous winner, was up almost 32% in since September in here. Yi was a great comeback year, if you remember, right? 31%. Veronica was 30%. Sukumara, not too bad. He had a couple of big cut loss. I think that's what he did. He didn't make it up in the double digit, but was respectable. For the period of 6 months, he made a 7.4% return, and then Shirley made a 6% return. So this is how it works. Okay, through this super wide coaching, you can see that's a younger self for me here, and we have the paper trading model, the 12-month premium membership. We can pretty much assured that you will know how to trade, how to find those trades. If you look at it, right, in the terms of crypto world, only, and they trade for 24 hours. I don't think even Christmas Day, so they don't close. Okay, I don't think the stock exchange close. If you choose to use the foreign exchange, it's good, no, not a problem. But here in what we do in our local context, we try to support the local exchange, and Luno is not too bad, although it is slightly expensive, but depending how you want to like it in here. So our framework is the paper trading model, where we monitor you. Me, myself, is going to be the coach here, and assisted by my my fellow technology guys in here to help you right into this 12-month membership in here, and hopefully you will even do better than the current stock trader. And remember, these are Malaysian market that they're making the 30%, the 32%, 31%. These are just Malaysian stock only, not even US stocks, right? But why are they so? Because they've been well trained and well groomed towards that. That's one of the things that we do in here. On top of that, we also have the weekly stock podcast to allow our members to follow some US market, Malaysian market, but I'll also add a cryptocurrency into the weekly stock trade idea. Now, of course, if you want to find more, go over to our tradevsa.com scoreboard. That's up in here, why our members outperform the trader and investor. Great times is here, right? So be like our successful members. There is a proper method, a proper tool, and a proper way to coach you to your next success. Will it be your income trading? Those of you who want to trade on the weekend for the Bitcoin, you can do that too, right? Or you just simply want to invest for the longer term, a lot of knowledge in here. Our Chinese New Year, post-Chinese New Year quote, something that I felt very deep to me is invest in knowledge. I think those of you who has been following me for some time will know that I've shared a lot of good information that puts you in the right spot. But if you want to move up to the next stage, by all means, join me again on the course. Now, next Wednesday, I'll be talking more on the course preview. So come again next Wednesday, same time, 9:30 in here. With that, we also have our regular programs. And for the US market partnership, it's important. So we recommend USmart. They have a good broker, cheap broker with good service in here. So don't forget to join our Telegram chat room for all our free stock market information. And this round, we're really extending to cryptocurrency that you've seen so far. So any question if you have, right, feel free to enter in there. If not, I'll see you on my regular Friday VSA 360 show. And of course, I wish you all the best. whatever you're trading, be it Malaysian market. Now Malaysian market is already undergoing correction, which I already said earlier on. And of course, if you use the Pentagon Guider, you already know that, and no surprises in here, just like what we have seen so far. All right, so that's all we have. Thank you for coming, and I'll see you in a not too distant week next week. Okay, bye-bye. Good night.